In a noisy world, clarity is power. Welcome to Stoic Wisdom GB, a space for ancient Stoic wisdom, practical philosophy, and mental discipline. Here we learn how to remain calm in chaos, strong in adversity, and focused on what truly matters. As the wise Epictetus once noted, it's not the events themselves, but our reactions to them that shape our emotions and experiences. You, our dedicated listener, have always epitomized selflessness, a quality increasingly scarce in our world. Yet it's vital to realize that, despite your best intentions and kindest efforts, there are times when your assistance may hit a wall if the person on the receiving end is resistant to change. They remain unmoved, unaffected by the help you extend. As you embark on this journey with us in today's podcast, we will navigate through the complex maze of human behavior. We're going to uncover clear signs that might signal you're investing your valuable energy into a futile endeavor. Our focus will be on 12 specific types of individuals who, for various reasons, may not be receptive to the help offered. Often, these are people who need to confront and overcome their challenges independently. So sit tight and prepare to explore this insightful and transformative journey with us. Firstly, the phenomenon of individuals ensnared in their self-crafted illusions. These are the ones who weave intricate narratives around themselves, narratives that often deviate significantly from reality. Imagine, if you will, a person so deeply entrenched in their own fictional tales that they become blind to the perspectives and insights of those around them. It's a common pitfall where our minds, driven by emotions and biases, distort reality, crafting a version that's more palatable, less confronting. Often, these individuals don't mean any harm. They're merely victims of their own mind's deceit. These experiences can lead them to construct a reality that provides solace, albeit a false one. The challenge in helping such individuals is akin to penetrating a fortress of denial and self-deception. Attempts to bring them back to reality can be as futile as convincing a flat earther of the Earth's roundness. No matter how evident the truth may be, they contort it to align with their skewed perception. A profound change in such individuals often necessitates professional psychological intervention. This situation mirrors the polarized landscape of current political debates, where people cling to their ideologies, oblivious to logical inconsistencies, and even when their arguments fold back on themselves, they remain steadfast in their beliefs. In summary, the lesson here is twofold. First, it emphasizes the importance of self-awareness and honesty in personal growth, as advocated by Stoicism. Second, it highlights the intricate challenge of aiding those lost in their self-generated illusions, requiring not just our understanding but also professional help to guide them back to a more grounded reality. This understanding serves as a crucial reminder of the power of our perceptions and the need to remain vigilant against the deceptive comfort of self-made narratives. If this video has sparked your interest in setting healthy boundaries and making empowering choices, you're on a valuable path towards self-awareness and positive relationships. Demonstrate your commitment to this journey of personal growth and discernment by commenting "Boundaries set, growth embraced" below. Don't forget, this is just the beginning. Stay tuned for more insights and practical tips on how to recognize and assertively handle challenging individuals in your life. The second type of people is the opportunists. Stoicism teaches us the virtue of deep empathy and understanding, an ability to resonate with others' emotions without casting judgment. This noble trait, however, can sometimes be exploited by those who mistake kindness for weakness. How do we then discern genuine friends from opportunists? Opportunists are adept at recognizing and taking advantage of the empathetic nature of others. They often disguise their true intentions under the veil of friendship, only to use this bond for their own gain. The key to identifying these individuals lies in observing their actions. True friends seek assistance in times of genuine need, whereas opportunists habitually ask for favors, even for matters well within their own capability. These opportunists rarely reciprocate or acknowledge the effort and time you invest in assisting them. They've mastered the art of inducing guilt, making it difficult for you to refuse their requests. Even after numerous rescues, they remain unchanged, entrenched in the belief that someone will always be there to bail them out. Stoic philosophy advises caution in these relationships, suggesting a respectful distance. It's vital to remember that your primary responsibility is to yourself and your commitments, not to perpetually fulfill the needs of those who exploit your good nature. Ever encountered someone who turns every conversation about themselves? Stay tuned for an eye-opening segment on self-centered individuals later in this podcast. Continue. Let's recognize and protect oneself from opportunistic individuals. It's about balancing empathy with discernment, understanding that while it's commendable to be helpful, one must also be wary of those who might abuse this generosity. The Stoic approach is not about harboring ill will, but about exercising wise judgment in choosing the company we keep and the favors we grant. Have you ever experienced a situation where your kindness was mistaken for weakness? How did you handle it, and what did you learn from that interaction? The third part, dealing with self-centered individuals. These are people who, steeped in their own world, consistently prioritize their feelings and experiences above all else. Imagine a situation where you're discussing the worsening traffic in your city. To such self-absorbed individuals, if they haven't experienced the traffic issues personally, they dismiss it as non-existent. Similarly, when you share positive news like landing a new job, they might quickly overshadow your achievement with complaints about their own dissatisfaction at work. It's as if they have an uncanny ability to redirect any joy or concern back to themselves, diminishing your experiences and feelings. This behavior doesn't just stop at individual interactions. In group settings, they often hijack conversations, shifting the focus onto their own feelings and thoughts. It's a pattern that leaves you wondering if your thoughts and feelings hold any value in their eyes. Stoicism teaches us the importance of self-improvement and the value of positive influences in our lives. If we continually try to uplift someone who is inherently self-absorbed and they show no willingness to change, it's an effort in futility. Moreover, such negativity can impede our own growth. Sometimes the wisest course of action, as Stoicism suggests, might be to distance ourselves from such individuals. It's not about harboring resentment, but about understanding that our personal growth can be hampered by those who are relentlessly self-centered. The fourth type of people we should say no to is individuals who never admit their mistakes. Stoicism, a philosophy that values introspection and humility, considers these qualities essential for personal growth. However, there are those who seem incapable of acknowledging their errors, always finding external factors or others to blame. They embody the antithesis of Stoic virtues by refusing to accept responsibility for their actions. These individuals often act without foresight, oblivious to the ripple effects of their decisions on those around them. When confronted with negative outcomes, their instinctive response is to deflect blame. They are entrenched in a mindset that absolves them of accountability, leading to a constant cycle of denial and finger-pointing. Whether it's a failed project at work, a personal disagreement, or even mundane issues like household chores, the fault, in their eyes, always lies elsewhere. The challenge here, particularly for those who aspire to help and guide, is immense. Stoic wisdom suggests that it's a futile endeavor to instill a sense of responsibility in someone adamantly unwilling to see their own faults. These individuals often resort to complaining and, in some cases, may attempt to drag others into their negative spiral. The continual denial of any wrongdoing creates a barrier that is almost insurmountable for those trying to offer assistance or insight. These teaches us that while it's noble to want to help others, sometimes the best decision is to conserve our efforts for those who are open to learning and self-improvement. This understanding is crucial for anyone seeking to live a life guided by Stoic principles, prioritizing self-reflection and personal development. Have you ever dealt with someone who consistently refuses to acknowledge their mistakes? How did you handle this situation? And what lessons did you learn about your own approach to accountability and personal growth? People who don't plan ahead is the fifth type of people we always say no. This scenario is particularly poignant when it involves someone close to us, who, despite possessing immense potential and talents, seems indifferent to the future. Stoicism teaches us the importance of living in the present, yet it also emphasizes the need for foresight and preparation for what's to come. Imagine watching a dear friend or family member with innate and honed abilities, yet they remain fixated only on the immediate. Their vision doesn't extend to the horizon of possibilities that their skills could unlock. It's not a lack of talent that hinders them, but rather a reluctance to project their abilities into future achievements. They are like a ship with a full sail but no course charted. This mindset not only limits their own progress, but also challenges those around them who see their potential, yet feel powerless to ignite that spark of forward thinking. The key to supporting such individuals isn't necessarily teaching them new skills, but rather motivating them to apply their existing knowledge towards future goals. It's about encouraging action and self-reliance instead of continual dependence on external help. Stoicism advocates for self-improvement and proactive living, where we utilize our capabilities to their fullest to advance our lives. However, if a person is habitually reliant on others and lacks initiative, it becomes increasingly difficult to foster their growth. The next part, we'll explore the challenge of dealing with perpetual pessimists and how their outlook contrasts with Stoic principles. Curious to know how to handle those who see only life's negatives? Stay with us. In summary, this segment teaches us the Stoic ideal of balancing the enjoyment of the present with the preparation for the future and the importance of self-action in personal development. It reminds us that while we can offer support and guidance, true progress comes from within and is fueled by an individual's own desire and efforts to move forward. The part of 6, we delve into a significant challenge, dealing with individuals who are perpetually focused on life's negatives. These are the people who invariably view the glass as half empty, contrasting starkly with ancient Stoic thinkers who valued calmness, resilience in adversity, and gratitude for life's blessings. Stoicism teaches us the importance of acknowledging both the highs and lows of existence to maintain mental equilibrium. These individuals, skilled in the art of focusing on life's downsides, often find themselves in a spiral of pessimism, where every solution seems inadequate against the backdrop of their problems. Their worldview is akin to a news broadcast that predominantly features distressing events, creating an atmosphere of despair. In trying to assist them, you may find yourself confronting a seemingly endless stream of new issues, each one negating the effort you put into solving the previous one. This relentless negativity can begin to seep into your own mindset, subtly altering your perception of the world. Over time, you might start to realize that these individuals might not be seeking solutions at all. Instead, they might derive a sense of identity or even a perverse comfort from their litany of complaints. It's as if their entire existence is framed by a narrative of grievances about finances, family issues, dissatisfaction in relationships, or workplace frustrations. Stoic philosophy offers guidance in such situations, suggesting that sometimes the most beneficial action might be to step back and allow these individuals to find their own way. The hope is that over time, they might come to see the world through a less negative lens. Instead, it advises focusing your energies on people who genuinely appreciate and value your advice, those who are open to growth and improvement. Engaging with the perpetually negative can unwittingly drag you down into their vortex of pessimism. The key lesson here is about recognizing when your efforts to help are not fostering positive change, but instead are draining your own reserves of positivity and energy. Stoicism teaches us to invest our time and effort wisely in people and activities that contribute to our growth and well-being, and to understand when to let go for the greater good of our mental and emotional health. Have you ever encountered someone who consistently focuses on the negative aspects of life? How did you attempt to help them, and what impact did this have on your own mindset and emotional well-being? The seventh type of people is individuals who perpetually shirk responsibility always believing that fault lies elsewhere but with themselves. This mindset starkly contrasts with the Stoic belief that we should focus on our reactions to situations rather than the situations themselves. These individuals often externalize blame for every setback or challenge they face. They live in a state of denial, where self-reflection is non-existent and accountability is always directed outward. Their attitude reflects in various aspects of life. A lack of friends is blamed on the unfriendliness of others. Poor health is attributed to the high cost of nutritious food, and missed job opportunities are seen as the result of biased interviewers. This pattern of blame shifting not only hinders their personal growth, but also impacts their relationships and life experiences negatively. Coming up, a segment on individuals who expect the world to cater to their every whim. How do Stoic principles guide us in dealing with such attitudes? Stay tuned in to find out. As someone guided by Stoic wisdom, the dilemma arises in how to assist such individuals. When they are deeply entrenched in the belief that they are flawless and that any misfortune is the handiwork of external forces, it becomes a Sisyphean task to foster self-awareness in them. The Stoic approach suggests that, in some cases, the most effective help is to step back and let life's experiences serve as their teacher. The lesson here is recognizing the limits of our influence in changing the mindset of someone who refuses to acknowledge their own faults. Stoicism teaches us that while offering guidance is valuable, there are instances where the best course of action is to allow individuals to learn through their own experiences. The next type of people is individuals who harbor the belief that the world owes them, simply because of their existence. These individuals operate under the illusion that their mere presence merits endless favors and adulation. This perspective clashes sharply with Stoic teachings, which advocate for living in harmony with the world and others, emphasizing that respect and rewards are not entitlements, but rather the fruits of one's character and efforts. Such a sense of entitlement poses a unique challenge, especially to those who approach these individuals with a desire to help. Stoic philosophy suggests that kindness and guidance should be extended to all, but often, this well-intentioned support is not perceived as benevolent. Instead, it's seen as an affront, or even a threat, to their ingrained belief system. In scenarios where these individuals feel slighted, or when things don't go as expected, their reaction is often one of exaggerated hurt, sometimes even resorting to manipulating those around them, including those who have previously offered help. It's a complex cycle where the realization of the need for change might only dawn upon them when they encounter similar attitudes in others, experiencing firsthand the impact of their own behavior. The solution to dealing with such entitlement lies in understanding the limits of our influence and the necessity of self-awareness. The lesson here is to focus on fostering change through example and understanding, while also knowing when to step back and allow individuals to come to terms with their attitudes on their own. Have you ever encountered someone who believes the world owes them for their mere existence? How did you handle this situation, and what did you learn about setting boundaries and fostering self-awareness in such interactions? In the Stoic journey of self-improvement, the ninth type of people we face is the reluctance of some individuals to embrace learning and change. Stoicism advocates for a continual process of self-examination and growth. However, there are those who steadfastly refuse to acknowledge their flaws or consider any form of personal development. They remain stagnant, often casting the blame for their shortcomings and life challenges onto others. This resistance to change not only hinders their progress, but also makes any attempt to aid them a formidable task. Consider Joe, who, even in the face of obvious errors, never concedes to being wrong, instead redirecting blame elsewhere. Sarah, despite receiving constructive feedback at work, clings stubbornly to her methods, dismissing any suggestion of improvement. Mikey, repeatedly encountering relationship issues, attributes his failures to external factors, never pausing to introspect on his own actions. Linda struggles financially, but rather than taking steps to manage her finances, she blames her circumstances on inadequate compensation. These examples illustrate a pattern of denial and an aversion to self-improvement that is antithetical to Stoic teachings. In such situations, Stoicism advises a nuanced approach. While the instinct may be to guide and support these individuals step by step, sometimes the most effective method is to allow them to confront and resolve their issues independently. Stay tuned for an intriguing segment on the eternal pessimist, individuals who view life through a consistently negative lens. Discover how their outlook differs from Stoic philosophy, coming up later in our podcast. In conclusion, the solution lies in recognizing when our efforts to help may be unproductive and in understanding the power of leading by example. Stoicism teaches us the importance of self-growth and the realization that sometimes the best form of help is to let others discover their path to improvement. This lesson is pivotal for those seeking to live a life in accordance with Stoic principles, where self-development and personal responsibility are key. The type of 10 is a particularly challenging personality, the eternal pessimist. This type of individual views the world through a consistently negative lens, finding the downside in every situation, regardless of its actual nature. This outlook starkly contrasts with the Stoic philosophy, which emphasizes a balanced view of life, recognizing and accepting both its positive and negative aspects. However, the eternal pessimist remains fixated on the darker side, allowing their pessimism to pervade and color every aspect of their existence. This entrenched pessimism is not merely a fleeting mood, but rather a defining characteristic that influences their interactions and experiences. They often cast a pall over those around them, diminishing the general morale and spirit. Efforts to infuse optimism or present a brighter perspective are typically met with resistance, leaving these individuals firmly rooted in their gloomy outlook. They possess a unique talent for twisting positive scenarios into something bleak and disheartening. For those trying to offer support or guidance, this constant negativity can be disheartening. It often appears as though the eternal pessimist is more committed to their state of despair than to exploring potential solutions or acknowledging the silver linings in their life. This refusal to see any positive aspect can be a significant source of frustration for those around them, who may feel their efforts to help are in vain. In conclusion, the key lesson here is understanding the limits of influence when dealing with such deep-rooted pessimism. It's essential to recognize when our efforts to help may not lead to change and to learn to detach ourselves compassionately, conserving our energy for where it can be most effective. This understanding is crucial for those who aspire to live a life aligned with Stoic values, where emotional balance and rational response are paramount. Have you ever encountered an eternal pessimist in your life? How did their outlook impact your interactions, and what approach did you find most effective in dealing with their consistent negativity? The chronic excuse maker is the next type of people should be refused. These individuals stand in stark contrast to the Stoic values of personal responsibility and introspection, where Stoicism teaches us to own our actions and learn from our mistakes. The chronic excuse maker is perpetually armed with justifications for their failures and shortcomings. This persistent evasion of responsibility not only hinders their personal growth, but also complicates efforts to assist them. In their eyes, the need for improvement or help is a concept that doesn't apply to them. Their narrative is consistently one of external causation. It's the tight deadlines, the unfair expectations, or myriad other factors, never their lack of effort or foresight. Dealing with the chronic excuse maker can be a vexing experience. It involves navigating through a maze of justifications and rationalizations, trying to bring them to a point of self-realization and accountability. Their resistance to accepting fault often results in a cycle of stagnation, where growth and development are stalled by an unwillingness to confront and rectify their own shortcomings. The lesson here for our Stoicism-inclined audience is the importance of recognizing when efforts to help are thwarted by ingrained patterns of excuse-making. Stoic wisdom teaches us the value of focusing on what can be controlled, our actions and reactions. Understanding the limits of influence is key, as is the realization that sometimes the most effective help is allowing individuals to confront the consequences of their actions. Lastly, we encounter a challenging archetype, the relentless critic. This individual is characterized by a persistent inclination to find faults in others, while seldom, if ever, acknowledging or offering praise for their strengths or achievements. Their focus is predominantly skewed towards the negative aspects, often overshadowing the positives. Such behavior starkly contrasts with the Stoic virtues of empathy, understanding, and constructive feedback. The relentless critic's approach to interaction lacks the Stoic balance of recognizing and appreciating the good alongside the bad. They perpetually dwell on what's wrong, ignoring what's right, leading to a demoralizing and disheartening atmosphere for those in their sphere. Rather than fostering growth and improvement through supportive and constructive feedback, they indulge in criticism that often serves no purpose other than to deflate and discourage. The key lesson in dealing with the relentless critic lies in understanding the Stoic approach to communication and personal interaction. While it's important to attempt to guide and enlighten, it is equally vital to recognize when such efforts may be unproductive. Stoicism teaches us the value of empathy, constructive feedback, and the importance of focusing on the strengths of individuals rather than just their shortcomings. Recognizing and accepting the limitations of our influence in changing a relentless critic's perspective is essential, as is the focus on maintaining our own Stoic balance and emotional well-being in the face of relentless negativity. Have you ever had to deal with a relentless critic in your personal or professional life? How did you handle the situation? And what strategies did you find most effective in preserving your own emotional well-being while engaging with them? In today's episode, we've navigated the intricate world of human behavior, focusing on 12 types of people that challenge our Stoic principles and personal growth. From those ensnared in self-deception to the relentless critics who find fault in everything, we've explored how to recognize and handle these difficult personalities. Remember, while it's commendable to offer help, it's also crucial to know when to step back and let others find their own path to self-improvement. If this helped you grow stronger today, subscribe for more Stoic wisdom. Stay calm, stay focused, stay disciplined. Stoic Wisdom, GB.